All right, meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the Thursday, February 26th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. We're going to talk about the winter storm that's departing the area this morning, run down what went right and wrong with some of the aspects of the forecast here, and just kind of delve into a peek at what's ahead as well. All right, these are temperatures during the 4 a.m. hour. Just above freezing at Charlotte, just below in Greensboro and Raleigh, below freezing in many mountain spots too. Greenville there in South Carolina reporting 33. Pretty interesting observations from up in Elizabeth City through the night. Some thunder snow. Some folks did see some of that hit in a hit and miss fashion across the region. Winter storm warnings, again, as I'm cutting this video, this will be trimmed back pretty soon, but during the 4 o'clock hour, still had winter storm warnings for much of North Carolina. And, this was a very widespread winter storm. And let me first of all show you the radar during the 3 and 4 a.m. hours this morning as this winter storm continues to gradually move off toward the east. At the time, again, I know you're watching this later, but at the time I was cutting this video, you still had some pretty good rates of snow across much of the Triad areas over to the Triangle. Been a lot of power outage issues. As I'm cutting this video, about 85,000 Duke Energy customers without power in Wake and Durham counties, over 11,000 in Forsyth and Guilford counties in the Triad area. And, this heavy wet snow has definitely brought down some power lines in some instances. Now, this is the whole evolution of this system. I started this radar loop at 6 o'clock, I believe, in the evening yesterday. There it goes. 6 in the evening to 4 a.m. this morning. And this system, I tell you what, it really cranked some impressive snows back in the Tennessee Valley of North Alabama. Some 9 and 10 inch plus snow totals there. And then as that system moved in, we were showing you the RPM modeling leading up to this event, and it was pushing that rain line right up to Charlotte, and a lot of us had kind of mentioned that was not overly likely to occur. A lot of the indications were that you might see that warm nose be a little less prolific and the rain-snow line stay in northern sections of South Carolina, but sure enough, the warm nose, it was kind of like what happened in some instances with the previous system, at least in some areas. That warm nose, and when I say a warm nose, I mean the temperature is aloft, about 3, 4, 5, 6,000 feet off the ground. Temperatures above freezing. When those warmer temperatures kick things over to, in some instances, sleet, and in some instances, just plain rain. Now, as this system unfolded. So, now this was my original call map that I put out when I cut the video yesterday morning, and I wish I had just actually stuck with that. I ended up going with some higher snow totals in that pink shaded area. And some areas did get into that 6 to 10 range up around the Triad area. I've seen several 6 and 7 plus inch snow totals up that way and up toward the Virginia border north of Raleigh as well. But you just had a scenario here where with that warmer nose moving in, I had mentioned that just south and east of the Charlotte metro it was going to get really tricky with the precipitation amounts there regarding wintry precip amounts. That was very questionable, and you wound up seeing a lot of rain in this corridor. And then even in this region here, you wound up with a lot of sleet mixing in, and that really cut down on the snow totals. Now, of course, when folks are getting out and measuring the snow on the ground this morning, there's been a lot of compaction overnight, so it'll be a little bit deceptive as to how much snow actually fell. But that was the deal. We just had that pretty prolific warm nose. The system continued to strengthen, and this was a really, really tricky system to forecast. The axis of heaviest snow outlined there was pretty good, but you end up with the warmer air aloft really winning the battle in this area, and really even back into this area too. In some instances, cutting down to the snow and getting more sleet involved instead. So, always tricky to forecast winter storms around here. You're dealing with a difference of a degree or two in temperature, a few thousand feet off the ground. You're dealing with a couple of tenths of an inch different in precipitation amounts, and that can make all of the difference in the world in terms of the tangible effects. Now, excuse me, through the 4 a.m. hour, these are some Triad area snow totals. And again, you notice Roxborough 7.2 inches, Asheboro at 7 inches, a couple sites actually in Randolph County over 6 inches, Lake Townsend and Guilford County 6 inches. So the forecast verified fairly well through the Triad region. It was just as you got down closer to the South Carolina border, that's where the forecast ran into some trouble for sure. All right, as we move forward in time, we're looking at a pretty cold setup, really, and a couple disturbances rippling through. So today, tonight, and even tomorrow, can't rule out a few snow flurries here and there. Temperature staying on the chilly side. Look at your highs this afternoon. So there'll be certainly some improvement in the road conditions where the roads are a mess. But with a lot of clouds hanging around and temperatures really not that warm, it'll be subtle improvements, and then we're well down into the 20s in many spots for lows tonight. So a lot of refreezing issues tonight into your Friday morning. Still a very chilly setup for Friday, and this is another pretty cold area of high pressure off to the northwest beginning to work in. So here's your Friday numbers for high temperatures, and then it's going to be a colder day Saturday. I do think some pretty good intervals of sunshine at times Saturday, but look at these Saturday highs, pretty chilly. In fact, the I-40 corridor struggling to get to freezing or above on Saturday afternoon. So when we're talking about a warm nose, what exactly does that mean? Well, this is a snapshot from the high-resolution NAM, or North American model, of 850 millibar temperatures, basically temperatures about 5,000 feet off the ground. This was from the 18Z run yesterday, and what you're looking at here is this is your freezing line right there. Now, right there. And everything south and east of that line is above freezing, and this was pretty accurate in indicating where we went from snow to something else, sleet or freezing rain. In many spots, rain south and east of that line, and so that that was there on some of the modeling. And this time around, that warmer solution aloft won out in many areas, and that's what kind of unfolded with this system. Now, let's look ahead on the high-resolution modeling quickly here. This is the GFS model today. And into tomorrow, you notice a few flurries of possibility with another little piece of energy rippling through. These are your 2-meter max temperatures today. A lot of mid-30s across North Carolina. Pretty cold day. Now, we get on out to Saturday. High pressure, that's a strong high pressure. 1044 millibars there over coastal Virginia. And that's going to be a cold day for Saturday. There's your raw numbers for Saturday's highs. And you notice freezing or below. In fact, these are low to mid-20s for highs over the remaining snowpack there in northeastern North Carolina. It's going to be a cold Saturday for sure. But then we begin to warm things up. Sunday night we see some rain spreading in, and it looks like a pretty wet Monday. Really kind of a wet go of it through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. And trending milder. I think highs probably breaking 60 by the middle of next week. But it's going to be a process, and we do have a lot of cold weather to go between now and then. There's your Tuesday setup, and certainly, again, it could be cool with some ice and snow nearby, but right now it's looking like liquid precipitation early next week. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody enjoy the wintry precip that you got, and for those that you didn't get what you were hoping for, I apologize, and we'll continue to work and do better as we move forward in time. All right, that is it for today. Everybody have a wonderful day, and God bless.